All right, so we're looking at sources of error in surveys, and this is page 23 of your notebooks. So you've already copied down this stuff here, about how self-selecting surveys works and how dodgy they are, okay? But that's not the only source of dodginess. So we can have a beautiful plan, but the way that we go about asking the survey questions can, in and of itself, produce bias or error. Okay, so let's look at the first one. The first one is the sample size is too small. Okay, for the population. Okay, so considering the size of the population, our sample size is too small. Okay, so e.g., let's say there are 180 people in the workplace, and the boss only surveys 10. And makes the decisions based on that. Okay, so clearly there's not enough there to get a proper picture. You can even have this situation happening where you've got maybe multiple workplaces, multiple stores of a franchise, and only one of them is asked. So you're not capturing enough of the population. Okay, and that happens a lot. Okay, people say, oh, well, this survey says blah, blah, blah. And when you dig into it, the sample size is way too small. Okay, the time or place of asking the questions can lead to error. Wow, you can have the best survey question in the world, but if you pick the wrong time or the wrong place, you can get error. So, e.g., asking opinions about daylight savings at 5:45 p.m. in a dog park. Okay, so let me just explain what I mean by that. If you want to know what people's opinions are about daylight savings, if you go at 5:45 in the afternoon to talk to people who are exercising their dogs, chances are they're going to love the idea of daylight savings because they get to do dog stuff after work, okay? And that's a certain type of person. So you're getting immediately a sample that will be positive towards your question, okay? The question itself is not a bad question. It's just where and when you're actually doing it can produce error or bias. Alrighty. Thirdly, you can word the question so that the person answering it can't give a certain response. Okay, so number 3, there might not be a way to give a certain response. Okay, so the example there, here's a question, little quotation marks. Which brand of ute do you drive? All right, and they got little tick boxes, and so there's Toyota, there's Mazda, okay, and then let's say they say Ford. All right, boom, that's it. That's the question. Well, what if you've got a Nissan? All right, so you can't answer the question. So that's a badly written question because there are certain people who can't answer it. Okay. Righto, the fourth one. Questions can be written how's the best way to put this? Questions can be written that lead to a certain answer. Okay, you can word the question so that it's kind of guiding people to give a certain response. Here's an example. Okay, what do you think of our amazing customer service? Okay, so that's a badly written question, because what if they don't think it's amazing? You know, you're kind of leading the person to give a positive response. Okay, so that's no good. Cross out number 5. We don't have a 5th one. Okay, so the good news is, when answering the questions about this in the test, or over the page, you don't have to do any calculations, but you do have to write something a bit intelligent. Okay, and I won't be looking for word for word, but I'm looking for the gist of what you're saying. All right. So 4 different ways that error can be brought into survey questions in particular. All right, that's enough.